Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. Here are your hosts, Oswin and Lord Night. Alright, so today we're going to address an issue that has recently happened, and it seems like nobody's doing anything about it.
No, they're not. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing anything. The community is not moving. We need the community to move. We need y'all to actually say things about this.
All right, so what's happened is you were watching a YouTube video by Thorn Mooney, and it seemed like it was a direct response to something that you had said to her.
It seemed more than seemed like, but yes.
But it still only addressed monetization.
And not complete monetization either.
Right, and things like that. So what she failed to address, she did say that money from her books and her Patreon and stuff like that is helping her pay for going to conferences and book tours and things like that.
If I remember correctly, she said she's probably not making anything on the books, which I understand. What she does get off the books is prestige and status.
Right.
Just like Stephen King. Stephen King didn't make no money off the books. He made monies off the movies and the marketing and everything else.
Right.
That's what he made money off of. Where she's making money is she's using this to fuel her Patreon, to fuel people watching YouTube, which is still monetized, which she claimed she was going to talk about, but didn't. The YouTube monetization. Because that is a choice. That is a direct choice that's made. You have to fill out paperwork to do that. Because I know I had to sit through 2 different sets of commercials watching her video twice so we could go back and take notes and some other things.
Right.
So you've gotten your money worth off of me already.
Lord.
Well, I mean, but again, she starts off this video trying to justify charging for classes. By the end of the video, you hear her starting to backtrack a little bit about access, and some people don't, some people do, and all this other stuff. And this should not be done on the spiritual side. And she wants to split hairs on her teaching online versus teaching her classes.
Right. And you actually made a response to that on her video, which has been hidden. And that response was, for the ramblings I sat through on the front porch, listening to my elders, that's teaching. There's no splitting hairs. Right. The idea was that it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're in a position of authority and people listen. Mm-hmm. And just like in the old days when we went to, gatherings, and the elders would sit on the front porch and they would just sit around and they would talk about pagan stuff.
They would talk about everything underneath the sun.
Right. But there was so much that was actually spelled out or talked about that you actually learned quite a bit just from listening.
Oh, God, I learned tons.
So
what she's
again,
doing...
that's teaching.
Right. What she's doing is the same ramblings and stuff I heard from my elders on her videos. This is teaching. You are lying to yourself to say it's not.
Right.
You aren't fooling anybody but yourself.
Right.
And that's just so you feel less guilty. The fact is that you're making money off the community. But here's what it's going to is what you're doing Patreon. She said something about it being $1. She's got close to 500 something people?
Close to 500.
Right. And regardless if you pay $10 or $1, you get access to the same thing, your choice.
Right. So even if they're paying only $1,
right,
she's still getting close to $500 a month just from Patreon.
And not to mention how much she's getting off the advertisement off of YouTube. I'm sorry, and even if that's only $500 a month, $1,000 to a small local temple goes a long fucking way. Instead of listening to her going, well, I get to go to all these other... The rest of us don't, so don't even try that.
Yeah.
Now, the comping, I understand. If an organization is throwing an event and they want me to come out there and I don't have the money and stuff like that, I'm going to have to tell them, yes, you're going to have to comp me to do this. But I don't think I'm making any money And I do realize this might mean I might wind up sleeping on somebody's futon at their house.
Right. Right.
I'm not an idiot.
Well, no, but that's different. I mean, we're talking about strict monetization.
Right. We're talking about strict monetization, but there's also this whole entire thing to where she mentioned that there were certain allowances to travel.
Yeah, she said sometimes they'll give her a travel stipend, which, in case people don't know, a travel stipend is money that you get to help you with housing and food while you're there.
Yes. That somebody else pays you and you use.
And sometimes it will cover your travel there and back.
Right. Right. But if you double up or find somebody to go with or something and half that cost, you get to keep the other half of that stipend.
Sure you do.
As tax-free money.
Sure, yeah.
Which every traveler, that's how they make the majority of their money. I don't have a problem with this, but you going around in line saying I don't make no money, and then at the end of your video saying, well, I do make enough money to do that, you're making money.
Right.
And so, and then, like I said, I'm guessing about like $1,000 to about $1,000. And again, like I said, that does a lot for a local temple.
Sure it would, yeah.
You know, I mean, I was just discussing with someone about the fact is that the majority of small temples have is an elder passes away or something and we're at their house. That suddenly disrupts the whole entire thing and the whole temple or coven falls apart because we don't have a steady place.
Right.
Because we're doing it at people's houses because a lot of us don't have a lot of money. But you know what? If people like Thorne Mooney would turn around and put that money back into the community.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how much she actually travels for, for her books and for conventions and things like that.
I'm sorry, but if you're working with a publishing company and they want you to go out there, the publishing company is going to pay from that. That's where in hell she's getting them stipends from. More than likely, it's going to be from a corporation.
Could be. I don't know that for sure, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, it just seems like to me, if you're going to get a stipends to travel somewhere, this is going to be like from her publisher or something. You're going there to specifically promote your book.
Right.
So our company can sell more of your books and make more money. So again, sometimes to have these authors show up in public, it is profitable for the company. And
sure it is. It's advertisement.
Right. That's just like doing the book signings. It's the same concept. These people are still making money.
Sure they are, yeah.
Now, I know she mentioned that there was... now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. She started off this video and stuff. I have never heard so much bigotry in my fucking life than I have out of this video. All right? We all know now, Thorne Mooney, you hate Christians. I'm sure you would throw them on pyres if you could. I mean, that's all there is to it. And how in the world anybody can follow a priestess who has that much hate in their heart for a different fucking religion is beyond me.
I mean, we've always taught tolerance. I mean, you can't... You can't judge Christianity for what it did in the past.
Well, you can't judge Pagan. I mean, it's not like our freaking hands are clean either. I mean,
right?
Live sacrifices. What can we talk about? Dead baby day.
I know, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, come on. All right, if y'all think we're like clean and don't have any blood on our freaking hands, y'all crazy.
Right.
So, but don't sit there. I'm sorry, but any slight against any religion, especially here in the United States, is a slight against all of us.
Sure it is.
All right. So here's my little saying for Thorne Mooney: get off your little soap stand, calm down, because you ain't that much damn better than them, and you need to shut the hell up on this because that is not priest-like. Sitting there cutting down other religions to make you look better, or to use them as an excuse for your decisions that you made that you should be responsible for. What was that list of ethics and morals we did? Keep your word, and then what? Accept responsibilities for your actions. Thorne Mooney, accept responsibility for your actions. You're not getting this because of the Christian. It's not because of communism or capitalism or sexism or anything like that. It's just the fact that you have turned into a bad priestess because you still have yet to call out the bad behavior that we have seen in the community from people like Taya Kennedy being a warlock, which you still have refused to rule upon, which is your damn job. Do it or step down. Either you're going to do your job as a priestess or you're going to step down and quit doing the videos and just fall out of public life. And that's the way I'm looking at it. You're there as a priestess, not as a fucking celebrity. I don't give a damn about your damn book. And how in the world do you think you're so much better than everybody else because you wrote a book or because you're a damn teacher? I don't care. Because what I'm seeing you right now, you're not a very good teacher because you're not teaching any ethics and morals. And then you're trying to use this whole entire thing of, well, it's sexism. It's always the female witches that get beat up on. Scott Cunningham was not initiated. Silver Ravenwolf was. We hold her to a higher standard, and we hold you to a fucking higher standard too. Am I wrong on this? I mean, I'm sorry. I know my community would rip me over the coals real fast.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
You know, I know this beyond any doubt in my imagination. The fact is that she still ain't done this. She's still lying to people because she is making money. She didn't talk to... Did you hear her talk about YouTube?
No.
And that monetization? And I'm sorry, what was it, Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon.
I'm sorry, there are other systems to do out there where you don't have to charge for them. And you can still get the same access. So there's another fucking lie. How many lies does it take before she actually becomes a warlock?
Well, and paying for access to information.
I'm sorry. Now again, we've talked about this before. Now, for paying for spells or card readings and stuff, that's you. If you want to charge people for it, that's you. Ethically, no. There's nothing I have seen or heard of in craft that says we can't do it.
Right.
Morally, I think it's disgusting. I think it's about the equivalent of being a prostitute, charging for spells. Because, again, nobody at the end of the day can tell me how much oomph or how much magic you get for a goddamn dollar. If you're doing spells for people, you better be able to start answering that question.
Right, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about access to information.
It should
just like with her Patreon, she has a Discord.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get access to the Discord unless you're a Patreon.
Right. How does that help? Oh, yeah, it's $1. Well, you know what? In today's market, $1 is a lot to some people.
I mean, you're still paying for access.
You're still paying for access?
That's like paying for classes.
Thank you. That's like a paying for initiation.
Right.
Now, again, don't get me wrong. If you're like we're a small time temple.
Mm-hmm.
If I get too many students at one time, yes, we're probably going to have to rent a place to do it at. But then I'm going to look at my students going, hey, look, because there's so many of you, I'm going to have to rent a place. This is how much the place costs, and this is how we're going to divide it up.
Right.
Completely open and honest up front.
Right.
I'm not making anything. We're just covering the cost of this because I can. Just like the rest of us. We all have to pay to go to these events. Oh, just because Thorn Mooney's an author, she doesn't...
Right. Well, and most of us have to save money to go and do those things.
Exactly. You know, it's not like we're sitting here and we got like $500. 500 people around Patreon giving us $1 once a month.
Right.
It's not like we're sitting here, you know, with 18,000 people on our channel, a set of 2 commercials in one video, and nobody knows how much fucking money she's making. So, you know, she wants to sit there and call money the root of all evil. No, your love for it is the root of all evil. Not the money itself.
Yes, we know. You have to have money to live.
We're not denying that.
We're not denying that.
We don't. I'm not sitting there saying you got to be holy or anything, that you have to live in a ditch or in a cave somewhere.
No, and we never said you had to take a vow of poverty to be a spiritual person.
I mean, Lady Santana took a vow of poverty, but she didn't live in poverty.
Well, no, her coven took care of her.
Her coven took care of her. She was just there 24/7.
They paid her bills. They bought her groceries. They made sure she had clothes. They made sure she had utilities. They made sure her yard looked nice.
Mm-hmm. And what did they get in exchange? A priestess 24/7.
Right.
But then on the other hand, Ravenwood's a large group.
Well, they are, yeah.
They're large and they are well established. They're one of the larger groups on the eastern seaboard.
Yes.
And they know what in the world they're doing.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
You know, trust me, to debate Lady Maya scares me. I find that, you find that funny. It scares me to debate somebody like her, but somebody like Thorn Mooney, okay, whatever. The fact is at the end of the day, what she was asked to do was to rule in judgment, because you've got to remember, in craft, our women are our judges, just like in a court. They rule on who's right, who's wrong, whatever. Thorn Mooney is still the highest public high priestess there is, that is initiated, who can enact the laws and the whole 9 yards. She needs to do her job, or her temple needs to do something about her. I'm done playing with this. It's either one thing or the other. Either she's going to be a high priestess or she's going to be a celebrity. Because apparently she can't handle both, because she's just sat there through a whole entire video, lied her ass off, then backtracked at the end, then turned around and goes, well, no, I do make some money to go on these trips and stuff. So which is it? You don't make money or you do make money? You do charge for classes or you don't charge for classes? Because your whole splitting hair things, yes, it's splitting hairs, and it's bullshit just to make you feel better. Because my question would be is, on them online classes, are you giving away secrets or mysteries that you're not supposed to be, and you don't want anybody in your coven members to fucking find out? And that's why in the world you're really putting it behind the paywall. Because people like us and more of the traditional community will not pay that money because we think you're full of shit. I mean, is that the real reason you're doing this? That's the real reason you're so vague on all your podcasts and try to ride that fence? I mean, I have questions, and she's not answering us, and she's, getting rid of our stuff. I know she did finally admit that a real traditional community does exist under all of this. I did hear that. Thank the gods for at least some small favor. After years of being beat back into the damn closet because, God forbid, we don't believe like everybody else, we're not suitable for public consumption.
Right.
We're the bad people because we believe there's rules and things that you actually have to do, and you can't just go call yourself a witch because it's the Thursday. Okay, this is a while later after we first recorded this video, but then I ran across this because I started to read her Thorn Mooney's book on...
That book was The Witch's Path, Advancing Your Craft at Every Level.
All right. I started to read this. I bought both her books. I think she owes me 2 credits. But she made a statement in her book I'd like to get on record here.
In the book, she says...
from her, what was it? It's from the intro?
This is from the introduction. In her book, she says, I had spent so much time turning my spirituality into my job that I'd lost the magic of it all.
Well, that sounds in complete opposite of what in the hell she's telling us online, isn't it? Because she said she's never tried to make this, but yet she wrote this in a book.
Yeah, she did say something. I remember her saying something about that she had never tried to, or never made an effort to make craft a career.
Yes, but this Satan, if you're reading it, she's dropping her temple for all her other commitments she's made.
Yeah. Yeah, she said she had missed some rituals. She had missed marking, seasons personally.
She went to some event because she was speaking there.
Right. She would go to the events and she would hang out with folks, but she never did anything personally or with her coven.
Right. But instead, she was too busy, so she lost her spirituality. So now my question is, are you, in your book, like you said, making a career out of this or not making a career out of this? I mean, these two statements to me seem opposites of one another.
They do. They seem very opposite.
And I think this means that we deserve, as the community, real answers, not none of this hem-hauling, riding the fence stuff.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning